Hey everyone, welcome. We are with iWall, and they're going to demonstrate iWallet 2.0, their next generation product. We're here with CEO Steve Cabouli, as well as the engineers David and Bill. They're the top engineers for the company and for iWallet 2.0. Thank you guys for joining us. We're here for an investor Q&A, and then we'll get into a little bit of a product. Steve, David, and Bill. So, Steve, if you want to just briefly introduce yourself, give us a little bit of background on who you are and why iWallet.
Yes. Cool. Oh, yeah. Well, hello. Thank you very much for having us. So, as you mentioned, I am Steve Cabouli, the founder and CEO. And before I continue, let me introduce our chief engineers, Bill and David. Bill, you can start off.
Yeah, hi.
Can you hear me?
My name is Bill. Yeah, I don't, my bandwidth seems to be a little bit challenged here. So anyway,
Yes.
as long as you can hear me, my name is Bill. I'm the product manager and one of the chief engineers for the iWallet programs that we're working on. Excited to be here today and share our vision for iWallet, which is a updated biosecure ecosystem and a number of products that will evolve from that as we go forward. A little bit about my history. I've worked for many of the big tech companies, Motorola, where I first met David, as well as Apple and Meta, working on everything from mobile phones to Apple cameras. And I also worked on the new Facebook or Meta Oakley Ray-Ban glasses, the augmented reality glasses that are just released now. I worked on that front camera as well. As I mentioned, I act as the product manager, managing all the pieces of a complex puzzle with latest and greatest technology, with vendors, scattered across Asia. I'm based in Asia. I live in the Philippines. That way I can provide great support for our company with the factories and the suppliers. So if there's ever any problems, I'm an hour flight away to any of the factories that we're working with. The suppliers we're working with are all Class A vendors. They support companies like Apple, Samsung, Google, all the tech players. These are world-class, state-of-the-art factories with technology that most companies don't have access to, but based on our relationships, working with them over the years for those great companies, built up a solid partnership with them, and they're working with us where they would not work with most other companies just because of the relationship we have.
Amazing. Sounds great.
Also being over here, we had to be somewhat nimble. We've had fluctuating tariffs coming around, so we've really had to immunize ourselves from that. We have shifted quite a bit out of China to other countries in Asia, but some of our key parts are still produced there as well. So that's a little bit about myself. If there's no other questions for me, I'll hand it off to David.
Awesome. David, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm David Haig, and I'm the chief engineer responsible for product design for the iWallet line. I actually have a consulting company, Trafton Manufacturing Group. And so Steve came to me for mechanical engineering at first. About this time last year, we started talking about the product, and I was able to bring in mechanical, electrical engineers and software teams that are, from my past. And as I got into the product, I was really excited about the product design and the potential for this iWallet line to take off and, rejuvenate the line with this new technology. And so I expanded my scope on the team, and we brought in the former head of product renderings from Google, did all of our product renderings for us. And our mechanical engineering lead has a really long history in medical devices. He's got several patents for medical devices and drug delivery systems. And he did all the mechanical design for us on this product. And so I'm just really excited to be part of it. I think this is great timing to bring this product back right now. And I'm really excited for where we're going to go with iWallet.
Great. Thank you so very much, David. And now, Steve, I guess we can jump into some questions. And Bill and David, of course, feel free to pitch in with answers as well. So we'll jump into some of our first questions here. So
Hey, Steve, are you there?
I'm still here, but it's very
looks
spotty.
like Steve may be lagging behind us a bit.
Yeah, I keep on losing you guys. I don't know. Now I can hear you. Can you hear me?
There you are. Yep, now you're good.
Okay.
Okay. So what was the question then, Jay?
Yeah, so let's just give the viewers a rundown on what is iWallet and why you've decided now is the time to bring it back to market with iWallet 2.0.
Sure. You know, I'm losing you guys for some reason. I don't know why.
Seems like there's a little bit of a delay, but
so-
we can hear you all right.
You can hear me?
Go ahead.
Okay, so um, as mentioned, I am Steve Cabouli, the founder and CEO of iWallet. And so iWallet is a high-tech company that I founded in 2000, in which I took it public. And we own the IP for the smart wallets that have a biometric reader, Bluetooth to get misplaced or stolen. And it is also a clutch-size wallet for women called the iClutch, which, by the way, is the first smart clutch-size wallet in the world. All three share the same technology of having a fingerprint reader, a Bluetooth, a GPS tracking, and hard case made of titanium. So when we launched the first generation, we got worldwide attention to the extent that we were just taking 800 IWAL for that particular customer. And then we were white labeling for various luxury brands and PO as well. So it was very frustrating to say the least. Even the producers of the movie Iron Man contacted us at the very and the problem we encountered back then was that the factory that we contracted to make them did not have the capability or the QC to right. So because he in idle mode waited for COVID to end and gear up with the right people to make it happen this time around. And so I hired Bill and David that worked for, like you heard already, for Apple, Google, Motorola. And then we brought in the same factory that makes the AirPods and phones as opportunity. After a year in the making, we finally accomplished launching first the iClutch and the iPassport, and the iWallet for men will soon follow and will be available in 2 months from now. We're launching the revised iWallet, the iWallet 2.0, which is the latest with the latest electronics.
Okay, I am back. I apologize for this.
Jacob.
connection issues there, but I am back now. Sorry about that. Okay, that was good. We'll keep moving forward. I'll let you know if you break up again.
Yeah.
Steve, can you hear me all right?
Yep.
Okay, great. Seems like with all the many miles away we are, I think we're having a little bit of connection issues, but we'll keep moving forward here. I apologize for that. So let's get into the next question. What are the primary smart features of iWallet, and does it interact with your other smart devices, like a smartphone, tablet, etc.?
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Jake. The main feature of the iWallet is a biometric sensor on the back. We have a capacitive touch fingerprint sensor. When you touch the sensor, that wakes the device up and opens the latch when it recognizes your fingerprint. And then when you open it, you've got areas for the credit cards and paper and stuff like that. On the clutch device, we have a mirror on the inside. But the main features that you're asking about are the fingerprint sensor and the tracking device that's inside. It works with Find My Device on both iWallet, on both iPhones and on Google. And,
okay, great.
And then we have our own app, Steve's iWallet app, is also interacts with the phone through Bluetooth. And there's going to be future features, like Bitcoin wallet and things like that included on the board next year. And so that's kind of the direction we're going in. This is going to be your secure device for both your your physical cards and your non-physical cards.
Okay, great.
And I think one of the points Steve was going to make with his previous, in the first question, was with his previous launch, he had issues with capacity. And that's one of the things we think we've solved with our distribution channel and manufacturing partners. So we'll get into that with Bill.
Awesome. And we'll move forward. So I was curious, obviously, crypto is a big thing now, and we have these crypto wallets, they call them, as software. Is there any potential for the iWallet product to be able to act as a crypto ledger, like a crypto wallet as well?
Oh, if that's for me, then yes, we're gonna incorporate that next year.
Okay, great. That's awesome. That would be an awesome feature. And just as a heads up, I'm kind of directing the questions towards David and Bill right now while Steve has a little bit of connection issues. But Steve, if you have input, just give us a wave and I'll unmute them and I'll have Steve come on. So it makes it really stand out as the next generation.
I'm sorry, the bandwidth issues are hitting me as well. I didn't hear that question.
No worries, I'll repeat. So I'm curious, what were the main upgrades for iWallet 2.0 compared to the previous generation product?
Okay. You want me to take that, Bill?
I can take it. So some of the major upgrades, and you saw it in David's hands, we have an updated, much more secure capacitive fingerprint sensor. We're using a brand new electromagnetic actuator that basically moves the titanium pin back and forth to lock and secure the wallet to protect your belongings. We have RFID shielding to protect credit card information. And what makes it so secure is that we've implemented 3D printed titanium that is made in factories that provide for Apple, Samsung, Google, etc. They're able to 3D laser the material, and then with some cleanup, some polishing, and color process called PVD, we're able to make a very luxurious but very secure product.
Awesome. And as we saw from the demonstration that David had just shown you guys of the prototype, it's a very clean looking product. for the next question here, I have iWallet 2.0 backed by top engineers. That's you guys. And has gone through extensive prototyping. So when can we expect the final product to be available on the market, do you think, for retail?
Bill, can you take it? Can you take the launch plan?
Yeah, sure. So we are pretty much completing our prototype phase with those prototypes that are in hand. We expect that once we receive an order that early next year, we'll be able to produce about 500 per month. And then once we get up and running, we'll kick off additional tooling and capacity, and we can get that upwards of about 20K per month later next year.
Okay, amazing. So initial launch would be probably Q1, and then you scale production up throughout the year?
Yes.
Okay,
That's
great.
correct. So what we're doing, Jake, we're starting with 3D printing for the titanium, as Bill mentioned. It's a laser process, and then there's some post-production, cleanup, and then the PVD adds the color. This device right here that I have in my hand is the clutch version. It's about the size of a smartphone. It's got the fingerprint sensor located in the back, kind of ergonomically where you're used to it being on older smartphones and accessory devices like that. It's just right there where your finger is when you take it out of your pocket or out of your shirt pocket. And then when the device opens, you've got the place to put all your stuff. As I say, the clutch version for women has the mirror on the top, and it's got a compartment that's deep enough to hold more than just credit cards and stuff. You can hold other stuff for like a night out. And then I didn't hold up the passport version yet. The passport version has the same form factor, the fingerprint sensor in the same place, and it's a little bit larger so it can hold your passport in the top section. It's leather lined at the top, passport, and then it's got 2 compartments for credit cards underneath. And there's space on top of the credit cards for paper or paper money or anything. As Bill says, there's the the microcontroller is down here that moves the latch back and forth to catch the pin that's integrated into the top. And these devices here are 3D printed. The initial planned capacity, as Bill says, 500 to 1,000 a month. And that's just with the 3D print capacity. And then you move up to, a die cast process. We can get, once you buy the tooling, you can get up to like 20K a month. So the idea is for like high mix, low volume products like a co-branding or a white box branding, we can support that kind of capacity with the 3D printing. What also makes that nice is it makes it really customizable. If we have a partnership with, say, a luggage company that's got a texture and a color palette and like chevron pattern or something like that on the front, we can duplicate that on the device to make that device fit in with their product line that they would want to sell it with. So that's one of our biggest selling points with the additive manufacturing capability is we can add all kinds of custom SKUs without having to build the expensive tooling to do it. So that's our model for the customized devices. And then, of course, as they meet more demand, you can spend more money on capacity. And if they break that critical mass, you can move over into buying the tooling for die cast. So we're really excited about the possibility for all the multiple SKUs and customization with this product. And the quality is it's just really stunning to see what we can do with the really low operating costs with the 3D print, the additive manufacturing, and the color palettes that we can get with it are really nice. I wish I had more than just the graphite devices in my hand right now, but we've got our plans are to have a gold and a red and a blue, and basically those are what we're rolling out first. And then, of course, like we say, we can meet whatever palette we have to for partners.
Great. Yeah, the passport version in particular looks perfect for anyone that's in business and is traveling a lot. Definitely a great product. And also, I would think that the fact that you can customize it like that would help with if you do additional retail partnerships like you had done with Dunhill, you can make custom versions for that. So that's great. Moving on here. So we mentioned Dunhill. Yes. Hi, Steve.
Yep. No, I was going to interject that. we are ready to launch this. It's within the next few days, we're getting the other colors and everything will be assembled. But basically, we are ready. And, we solved the problem. Like I said, back in the day, the problem was that we didn't have the right factory. But due to the relationship that Bill and David have with these mega factories where they make, I'm not going to mention the names, but the phones that we use on a daily basis. So you can imagine, to get to those folks, right? They don't just want, say, okay, we'll do, whatever. They're very selective. They're very selective, and they see the potential of the iWallet. That's why they jumped on board, because they can see this growing astronomically within the next few months. And again, because of my expertise, by doing this for so long, I know what we can achieve, and your listeners will be quite surprised at the results. We'll see. It'll increment the sales on just on a monthly basis. You will see results. Like I said, the first order that we got back in those days, very first day that we hit the market, 10,000 iWallets were sold. So that
Wow,
goes to
that's
show
great.
you, when you look at the market out there, I mean, I'm a little bit like tired of seeing the same things. It's always the earbuds, phones. You always see the same consumer electronics out there. Very hard to see something groundbreaking. I know the AI now is a big thing, right? But when you have something that you use on a daily basis, like a wallet, it's groundbreaking what we have here. So you'll be very surprised. Your listeners will see incredible, and since we're a public company, they will just follow our filings with the SEC and see our financials. So everybody will be very impressed.
That's great. And yeah, I think a really good point that you highlighted there is the fact that you have these relationships now with these manufacturers of, high-end, popular mainstream devices. And so obviously they see the potential in the product as well if they're willing to work with you. And that's definitely a key point for the listeners to take note of, because the product launch is coming, guys. And, this is really, we're at stage one of the new iWall and iWall 2.0. So, very much looking forward to seeing the product launch and sales figures and all of that. And then we talked about Dunhill a bit previously, and I was curious to know if if there's a continued relationship there versus the first generation product was obviously successful with Dunhill. In their stores, if you have any priority retailers.
Well, yes, we already reached out to Dunhill. They are showing a keen interest in a relaunch of the Dunhill. They call it the Dunhill Biometric. And I have one here just to show your viewers what it looked like. There's the original Dunhill wallet. And back in those days, you had to press a power button, right, which is right here on the side. And then you swipe your finger. And then you can hear the motor, and then it opens. It had a money clip, had the slots for your credit cards, your ID on the other side. And this thing was selling for $1,800, up to $1,800 worldwide. And they would constantly be sold out, and they would order more. And unfortunately, we couldn't fulfill the orders. I recall that they have a flagship store in Wall Street, and someone just went in there and bought 12, worked at Wall Street, and just to give out, spent a boatload of money, looking at $20,000, something like that, for these. And the store manager called us and said, we need more. So again, I cannot emphasize enough that the relationship that Bill and David have with these mega factories, well, it's a game changer. We're going to be able to fulfill these orders.
Absolutely. And there's no better problem to have really than
I always said
over demand, right?
that was a good problem to have, right? But no, that wasn't said anymore. Yeah, go ahead.
Great. Yeah, that's a great. I do want to move on to the next question here, which is, so obviously smartphones, iPhone, you have a new iPhone coming out every year. What does the schedule look like for the future of iWallet in terms of, okay, this is iWallet 2.0. Will we ever see?
So yeah, we actually, when we talk about our roadmap, we have, first of all, like we mentioned before, there's lots of opportunity for customization because of the additive manufacturing method that we're using. We can change the profile and change the pattern and the texture and the color palette without any sort of tooling investment required. And so we have several different design concepts that we're toying with for next year, and we'll see how that works out as we get into the prototype phase for those. Like for one thing, we have the passport. We started the design based on the wallet, and that's why we have the hinge on the top, and we have the soft touch pockets for the credit cards on the inside, and then the space for the passport. But what we also want to do with the passport device is we're going to do a version with the hinge on the side so that it opens on the long side instead of the short side. And then the same with the clutch. We're developing a clutch version with the hinge on the bottom and with fabric on the inside, more like a traditional purse type clutch for women. And that we expect to have those devices roll out in the first half of next year, towards the end of the first half of next year. And then there's also, as we say, there's a possibility for co-branding and other type low volume custom SKUs with logos on them, or like color branding to go with, any kind of other co-branding we would have to do. So those are kind of our ideas for the iWallet platform. And then Steve has some other products we would potentially use the same biometric sensing platform for, and those will be added later on as they develop.
Great. Thank you for the answer. And then the next question, this may be one for Steve, but you guys may know as well. I'm curious, is there any type of revenue projection or goal perhaps for the first year of the iWallet 2.0?
Well, I would hate to give out numbers, right, out of, thin air. But all I can tell you is that we are reaching out to major luxury brands, and they are showing a lot of interest for white labeling, and everybody's waiting for their samples, which will happen within the next few days. So I cannot give you a number, although we do have a projection, but I don't want to share it now. But my theme is to under promise and over deliver. So, if I say we're going to sell 500 units a month, maybe, we're going to sell 10,000, right? So for now, I would like to leave it in suspense, and just your listeners and our shareholders to wait and see. We're going to show on the go, and that's the philosophy that we're going to adopt from here on. But again, our closest competitor, which is just a credit card holder, it's nothing compared to the technology that we own and we have the IP for. They do $100 million a year, 100 million, and it's just a credit card holder. Nothing compared to our technology. And so that will give you a scope of the capabilities that we are aiming at, right? And it will happen during the year 2026. So this is the time to buy shares.
Heard
Yeah,
it here first, guys. It is the time. And Bill, go for it.
Yeah, sorry. I just wanted to add on that we've designed this as a solid platform that is easily transferable from our different products, as well as other form factors. And I know Steve's going to mention those later. But basically, we took a platform design. So we will, as the revenue and the sales start ramping up, we'll be able to reinvest and come out with a number of different products in this space, as well as in other biometric secure ecosystem, with accessories and other things for the home as well.
Mm-hmm.
Great. And actually, you mentioning accessories and other things for the home, that kind of leads us into our next question here. So for and then you have also some drone technology patents in there. So I'm curious, are any of these additional, is there potential for these patents to kind of be rolled in to IWAL and be used for additional devices?
Yes, that's the plan also, Jake, for next year. Subject to funding, we intend to do a lot of R&D with the drone patent that I have in the, we have something called a smart jar, which we named it iStash, and that's also, projected for next year, maybe to launch as well. But we're going to go step by step. First thing is the wallets, and we're going to take it from there. But, we're already talking with potential investors. Bill had a meeting with an investor from the UK up there in the Philippines, and it seems very promising. So we'll see what happens. I have also contacts with a celebrity. I cannot mention his name, but shows a keen interest also on investing into iWallet. So we'll see what happens. It's exciting times ahead of us.
Well, that would be awesome. Look forward to seeing more about that for sure. And then I was curious as well, and this might not be your ballpark, I'm not sure, but you guys had put out a tweet about potentially being interested in an OTCQB tier uplisting for your stock. I'm curious as to, is there an estimated timeline in place for kind of, I'm guessing sometime in 2026, you'd be interested in uplisting to QB?
Absolutely, yeah. We plan on uplisting to the OTCQB immediately after funding, which could happen any month now. And depending on the amount that we raise, we will file for an uplist to NASDAQ thereafter.
I'm just curious, is there any sort of official manufacturing agreement in place already? Like, you guys are good to go with that?
I was on mute. Yes, is the short answer.
Yeah, I actually a few weeks ago returned from a trip to visit the factory, and we did come to an agreement. We discussed NRE, what level of support they're going to give, and now they're just on standby waiting for us to ship them boxes of parts to build.
Well, that's
and
great.
I think, Bill, you should add that the factory is not in China, so we're not so.
About to say.
So you will have some. You think you'll have some resilience to tariffs, or you're prepared to handle the tariffs as well?
Yeah, we're well positioned with our vendors here in the Philippines and other countries. We have backups to our backups if things take an unexpected turn.
Yeah, we have some components have to come from China, obviously, but we have our main factory agreement is with a company in Malaysia. And then, like Bill says, we also have final assembly and distribution capability in the Philippines. Of course, one of our suppliers has facilities in Vietnam. If we had to expand capacity, we would probably be able to expand capacity in Vietnam and Malaysia, and not so much in China if that becomes a real problem with the tariffs.
Well, that's great. It sounds like you guys are well prepared and ready to rock.
Mhm.
That actually wraps up all the questions I had prepared for you guys. I don't know if you'd like to give any closing statements, or if David, you want to maybe show off the product demo one more time, just so people can see before they leave. And yeah, if anyone has closing statements as well, now would be the time.
Yeah, I just wanted to say I'm really excited about the product. We started with a really sleek and slim design, and then we have a lot of other concepts in mind for what we can do with the additive manufacturing process and with the outer dimensions and features. The biggest thing is this is a really solid and secure fingerprint sensor. I guess one of the other things I want to mention that's worth mentioning is the fingerprints are actually stored in the sensor circuitry on the device itself. It's not stored in the cloud. It's not accessible through Bluetooth. We have a USB-C connector on the side, but this is only used for charging the battery. There's no data connections at all. So it's impossible to get into the device and get the fingerprint off of the device. And that's one of our favorite components of this. Steve was really adamant. We tried to get into facial recognition and the video camera type sensors, but we were able to convince him that the capacitive touch is the most secure sensor on the market for the price right now. And I think it's going to be a really exciting product because of the security and because of the reliability of the electronics that we put. I think everybody's going to be really excited.
Yeah, and especially for the high-end consumers that you're targeting, I would think wallet security is of their utmost concern. So that's great. Steve, any closing statements or anything you'd like to say for the audience as we look forward to the Q1 product launch?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So I just want to tell your listeners and our shareholders that this is going to happen very soon, guys. We're just a couple of weeks away from the launch. You can follow us on our website, iWAL.tech. Also on Twitter, we're there as well. And these are the exciting moments and the best time to on board, because the shares are low now. It's a penny stock, but double, triple, I cannot forecast for sure, but that's the intent. We're putting our heart and soul into this. Again, I solved the problem about the engineering, the manufacturing. I got the cream of the crop, Bill and David and the other engineers at the 10, Larry, Jeff, and so on. I mean, these guys are the best of the best, and they wouldn't even give you the time of day if they didn't believe in the product, and they do believe in the product, so much so that they have shares as well. So we're going to make it rock, man. I tell you, it's happening. And as you can see, I'm a rocker, man, because I'm a guitarist, so that's also my background as a musician, and I know this is going to happen. I got 10 years under my belt with the public company, and also when we were private. I know what these products can do, and there's an incredible amount of people that want it, and we're there. We're gonna deliver to them for sure, 100%. So you'll have a great day, and I'll leave it up to Bill if he wants to say something before we end this.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. Yeah, just really quick, I share the excitement. I've gone all in on this, these concepts. I actually did the master model design, the overall shape and size based on principles from Apple. There's not a flat edge, even though it looks square. There's no flat edges on this device, and that makes it look premium. It makes it look elegant. It just looks and feels right. We're really excited. As we said, we have a wallet, we have a clutch and a passport. We have a number of other concepts just sitting, waiting to be developed, but we're primarily focused on getting the wallets out, as quickly as early next year, and we'll build from there.
Amazing. Well, thank you.
Yeah, and remember, Jake, these are the guys that sat down. Yeah, I just want to interject for a second. These are the guys that sat down with the movers and shakers that you read on a daily basis, the multi-billionaires, right? So they know what they're talking about. These are the guys that we co-founders, of the $5 trillion companies. So if they're excited, your listeners should be also, okay?
Definitely. You guys have assembled a top team. You have the manufacturing in place. Products looks great. We really appreciate your time. And another thing I want to highlight for the audience that Steve had said earlier, their competitor guys that has worse technology is doing 100 million a year. So there's very much so a market for this product, and the market could use some breakthrough technology like the iWallet device. So again, thank you so much for joining us, guys. You can go follow them at iWal_Corp on. Maybe we'll have you back on in a few months. We'll see.
Thanks, Jake.
All right.
Thanks,
Take
Jake.
care, everyone. Yep.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Thank you.